Hey, what's going on guys? My name's BrainBean, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the newest keyboard and mouse combo from Cooler Master, the Masterset MS121. This set comes in at about 80 bucks, and it also has a keyboard featuring Cooler Master's new mem-chanical keys. So I'm really excited to dive into this review and see what these peripherals can do. So with that, let's go ahead and just take a look. Starting with the keyboard, the Masterset MS121 includes Cooler Master's newest hybrid mechanical membrane keyboard. The keyboard itself is heavier than I was expecting and immediately got me thinking that I was looking at something much better than I had anticipated. The keyboard feels well made and is pretty resistant to flex, however it will flex a bit when mashing down on the center of the keyboard. Cooler Master stuck with a minimalistic design for this keyboard, which seems to be the current fashion. It's no bigger than it needs to be, and it's void of any obnoxious branding or over-stylization. The only hint of branding is the Cooler Master logo on the OS keys, which to me is pretty acceptable. Okay, so yes, the keyboard feels solid, but what about those mem-chanical keys? For me, this is what's really going to make or break this keyboard. Cooler Master's mem-chanical switches are unlike any other that I've tried. If you've seen my review of the Razer Ornata, I was pretty convinced that it simply wouldn't get any better than the feeling that that keyboard provided. But man, was I wrong. Cooler Master has nailed it with their mem-chanical keys. Cooler Master has designed an entire new mechanism for membrane keyboards where Razer just slapped on a noisemaker. These keys consist of a tactile plunger which gives the tactile feel and click of a mechanical switch, and also have the resistance of an actual spring built into each key, instead of just relying on the rubber domes for resistance. And to top it all off, these keys are actually Cherry MX compatible, meaning you can change out the keycaps if you want to, which is virtually unheard of in a hybrid keyboard. As for the typing experience, I would liken it to typing on Cherry MX greens with O-rings. There's definitely more resistance than say Cherry MX Blues, and if I had to guess on the actuation force, I would put it somewhere around 70 grams. The most surprising part is just how little squish there is. It's by far the closest experience to a real mechanical keyboard that I've ever felt in a hybrid. And just like its mechanical counterparts, these keys are rated to last 50 million keystrokes. And just so you guys can get a good idea of what I'm talking about, here's a quick sound test of these mem-chanical keys. The keyboard also has full per key RGB illumination, but before you get too excited, just keep in mind that there isn't any software for creating custom profiles or effects. But don't go sulking off just yet. The onboard controls give you a plethora of lighting effects, including reactive effects and other options. The preset animations actually look pretty damn good too. They're nice and smooth, much more so than a lot of budget mechanical keyboards that I've reviewed. The lighting itself also looks very good thanks to the white backing behind the keys for reflecting the maximum amount of light back at the user. And what is particularly impressive to me is that the support housing for the mem-chanical keys that I mentioned earlier is also clear, which allows for the LEDs to permeate the housing and create the illusion that this is in fact a real mechanical keyboard. The font on the keycaps is nice and simplistic and is easily illuminated by the LEDs, including all of the secondary characters. The LED indicators are also nice and minimalistic, consisting of simple white LEDs and a respective letter for each function. In terms of extras with this keyboard, there really isn't a whole lot to write home about. There's no included wrist rest, and the lack of dedicated media or macro keys could be a turnoff for some. However, you do get media controls by way of the function key, and the keyboard does have a Windows lock mode for gaming and 26 key anti-ghosting, which realistically is plenty for any normal human with 10 fingers. The cable is a simple rubberized cable, and I would have liked to have seen a braided cable on this for added durability, but at this price, I do think it's pretty forgivable. The keyboard for me is pretty damn good considering the price. Sure, you won't find much bells and whistles, but at its core it delivers a superb mechanical feeling experience, with lighting that would make a lot of more expensive mechanical keyboards run off to cry in a corner. And really, the performance of the keyboard itself is what matters most. Now moving on to the mouse, my first impression is that this was more of what I was expecting. Let's just say that it's a little guy. It's only about 4.5 inches long and it is fairly light. Not cheap feeling light, but not heavy like some aluminum mice feel. The mouse has a matte finish that feels pretty good on the hands, but I do wish that there was some sort of rubber grip on the sides. The The mouse is a 5-button mouse, which is good because I think that's almost a requirement for PC gamers these days. Mouse 1 and 2 have nice crisp clicks thanks to their use of Omron switches, which is the industry standard. These particular switches are maybe a little bit harsh overall, but they do feel pretty good. You do get a rubberized tactile scroll wheel that does have nice even bumps, and the click of the wheel feels nice and snappy. Mouse 4 and 5, however, feel a little bit less snappy than the other buttons on the mice. There's almost a little bit of squish to them. I also wish that mouse 4 and 5 were a little bit larger, as I just personally prefer larger thumb buttons. The sensor is optical, so that's a plus, and it comes with 4 pre-programmed DPI settings, which can be toggled with the button behind the scroll wheel. You can change from 500, 700, 1500, and 3500 DPI. Performance-wise, the sensor's pretty good. I didn't have any issues with stuttering or losing tracking, but I can see it being a little bit of an issue not being able to choose a more exact DPI setting. To complement the keyboard, the mouse is also RGB. It has a nicely illuminated scroll wheel, and there's a small light bar coming out at the base of the palm rest, which gives a nice underglow effect. The lighting looks really good, especially considering the price of the bundle. However, the lights are stuck to spectrum cycling only for the mouse. The shape of the mouse feels okay with some mild grooves for your fingers to rest in, and it has lightly contoured sides. For me, it's not an uncomfortable mouse to use, but I do prefer a fingertip grip, so mouse length isn't a big issue for me. Palm grip users, however, will most certainly find themselves wanting a larger mouse. And while the length doesn't really bother me, I do wish that it was about a centimeter or 2 wider. This bundle's left me pretty damn impressed. Clearly the keyboard is the star of the show, and in my opinion could easily command the $80 price tag on its own, which makes it easier for me to forgive the gripes that I have with the mouse. As a starter kit, the mouse will absolutely get you going, and it will treat you well, but I have a feeling that most serious gamers who spend countless hours playing at their computers will decide to spring for something that's a little bit more comfortable on the hands down the line. But that keyboard, you guys really have to try it to believe just how good it feels. Overall, even with some of its faults, I can confidently recommend this bundle to anyone who doesn't want to spend a ton of money, but wants a really good starting place for their PC gaming setup. And you know, that's not even really that fair to say. Sure, this mouse is a bit of a starter, but if you like the idea of a mechanical membrane hybrid keyboard, then this one is definitely going to blow you away. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Let me know in those comments down below what you think about Cooler Master's mem-chanical keys, and as always, feel free to leave suggestions for other peripherals that you'd like to see me review. You can consider giving this video a like if you enjoyed it to show your support, and if you're new here, click that subscribe button because we've got a lot more videos like this one coming for you in the near future. You can also follow me on Twitter at BrainBeanGaming, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.